so glad you joined us today. Our theme for 2024 is A Grand Rising. This month, our focus is Sticking the Landing. And today's message is The Incredible Light of Being, which will be given by our own Reverend Charlene Banks. We're so glad you joined us today. Please feel free to add to the chat or in the comments any prayer requests or celebrations that you would like to have included later in the service when we provide our community spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. We invite you to get comfortable and relax into this moment as we will officially begin our service with this welcoming video.
Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
And so it is. Now, here's our Reverend Charlene Banks with today's meditation.
Thank you, Renee. I appreciate your participation, and I know this is such a busy time of the year, but I'm so grateful for everybody taking time and allowing yourself this gift of the light. So let's close our eyes and let's go within. We're going to have just a bit of a light meditation for the next 4.5, 5 minutes or so. So if you can find a space to sit where your body is erect, well, upright. Doesn't have to be perfectly erect, but just paying attention. And by closing our eyes, we just bring our attention from the external world inward. And as we settle into our bodies, we allow our breath to become the focus of our awareness. Breathing in and out, a nice deep cleansing breath. It is so good to be aware of our inner life and our inner light. as we keep our focus on the in and out breath, we know that there is one energy, this same energy that flung the stars across the sky, this same energy that scattered billions of grains of sand on the ocean, this same energy that created all the beings that move through life as life. It is also moving through us as us. The breath is representative of that flow. In and out. And if the mind wanders to something else or sound, that's okay. We bring it back to the breath. We're developing an inner sense of who we are. A felt sense of the presence. And inside our deepest awareness of our own bodies, I would love if you could envision a small candle, a little light. It might be flickering, it may be faint at first. If you could catch that little light, as we breathe in and out, imagine that your breath makes this light bigger. We're feeding the flame with the very breath. Imagine that this light warms your body from the inside out. Like ripples on an ocean or on a still lake. The heat emanates forth from within the very center of your being. Imagine that that light now pulsates around you. It is your natural space around you. 3 to 4 feet around you, it's like you're floating in an orb of light. And as we end this meditation, I would love if you just keep that idea that you are the light that lights up every man and woman on this earth. That you bring that light with you everywhere you go. And so it is. So let's bring our attention back into the room.
Good morning, everyone. I cannot think of a more fitting a song to Reverend Charlene's meditation and to this time of year than India Arie's I Am Light. So I'm going to post the lyrics in the chat. If you're familiar with the melody, or once you become familiar with the melody, I invite you to sing along. And certainly the refrain is accessible from the beginning. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. Will you sing that with me? I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I've left behind. I am light. 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 I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I'm not my race. My soul inside is all light. I am 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 light.
Whew, I love that. Was perfect. What a perfect song. I'm so grateful for Leah and for Renee who opened up, and just this community is just warms my heart. I am light. Well, good morning and welcome to week 4, December. We are sticking the landing. This is the perfect time. It's the perfect category for the last month of a very long, kind of twisty-turny year. And similar to, I always mention, it's like Simone Biles, the way she goes through her gymnastic routine, just defying gravity and spinning and twirling and twisting, and you're just holding your breath because it's just also so amazing and beautiful and dangerous, and the skill that it takes. And then she just sticks the landing and throws her hands up and 10, 10, 10 all the way around. I feel like we've kind of been through that. As I've always mentioned here, we do take our lives a day at a time, but when you look back at the entire year, whew, and it's no mistake that December, the ending of a year, the ending of, as we look back and seeing our time, it's also the darkest time. We are in the midst, or I guess we just came out of winter solstice. I think it was yesterday, the 21st. So it was the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice, which means that it's the darkest We have the most hours of darkness than we do at any other time of the year. So, of course, we celebrate light. It only follows that there would be millennia of traditions dedicated to light, because light is the thing that you want the most when you're at the darkest. And yet sometimes we eschew darkness, sometimes, don't we kind of say, oh, dark, we don't like dark. Darkness is required. You need both. We love the analogy of the womb, and how for 9 months the baby is in the darkness of the womb. But not only is it dark, it's also so nourishing in the best circumstances, right? Very nourishing. The very presence of this darkness is what creates all of this capability. And then when it's time for that baby to come and see the world, we say, I know I told my son, head for the light. Jokes. Yeah, the doctors laughed too. But in the middle of, all the other stuff, I was like, Blake, head for the light. Because we do know that the light is where we all will grow toward. The light, and there are analogies about the end of our lives, that there's a tunnel of light. There's analogies that have to do with the seed being planted in the depth of the dark soil where there's nourishment, hopefully. Some nourishment in the form of water and the conditions that it takes to nourish that seed that has everything inside of it to become the beautiful rose bush, or the beautiful acorn, oak tree is in the acorn. Yeah, the beautiful oak tree that it could become. All of the DNA is there in the seed. This is also true of us. All of our DNA supports the ability for us to grow into the enlightened souls that we came here to be. And there are many traditions that support this journey, and it all is relevant to light. If you don't believe me, let me take you on a journey then. So it's over the years, the idea of light has been has had the symbology of not only divinity. Think of every angel that has the halo of light over the head. And every time we see a deity that has made its journey to enlightenment, think about that word, there's always that light in the crown chakra, the crown, the tops of our heads, that light. And even, okay, so we talk about different traditions. Bodhi Day, December 8th. Bodhi Day celebrates enlightenment of the Buddha, which is Buddhist in the Buddhist world. They have different traditions of light as well. There's the Wiccan tradition of the Yule, where the 21st, they light the Yule log. That is the fire that will burn to provide light in this time of darkness. We have Christmas, celebrating the birth of Jesus, which is represented by the North Star, or the star, the star that, listen, studies have shown that what they did in those times was just re-wicker an existing pagan tradition that was already celebrating light, that already had to do with a star, and just kind of repurposed it because the traditions celebrate light at this time of year. The tradition at the time involved bringing evergreens into the house and putting candles on them to illustrate how life goes on. It is all is not lost. There will be light coming back. It was all about everybody feel okay. It's going to get light soon. So that Jesus's birth, and people think that he was actually born in the springtime, but you know what? Let's move it to the darkest point of the year so that we can kind of blend two traditions. I would have done the same thing. Now, there's also the Hanukkah tradition, which this year it does begin on December 25th, and it goes, and that tradition is based on the legend of the the oil lamp that just ran out. We didn't have enough oil for all of the candles or all of the lights, but that light stayed lit for all of this time. What about Kwanzaa, where it's a more recent tradition, not necessarily embraced by every African American family, but it has enough of a reach that now there are 7 days of Kwanzaa, and you light all the candles accordingly, and each day represents a quality that you want your family to emulate, from anyway, there's 7. I did not take a lot of notes. I'm off on a tangent right now. Listen. Every single one of these traditions has candles to represent light, has some guidelines to represent hope and the ability to move oneself through the world in a way that nourishes both ourselves, our community, and the world as a better place. So this is just light as a symbol of the divine, of spirit. Thomas Troward calls it the third main aspect of God, because he says it symbolizes intelligence, the ability to see clearly all possibilities. Now, Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of our teaching, tells us that faith will light the place in which we find ourselves. Think about that. Faith will light the place in which we find ourselves. And by the light of faith, we will see all that is good. And we will see that all is good. Think about that. If we light, with light, we see all that is good, and we see that it is all good. So that's quite the movement from the worst, darkest night of the soul. Again, both are necessary. We recognize that we have this ever-present light within us, and we let it shine. And as I was mentioning in the meditation, by letting it shine, we light up the light. We light up the lives of other people. It is infectious. I mentioned last week I started reading, maybe 2 weeks ago, I started reading that book, The Gene Keys, which is it's a book that was written back in 2013. And what the author did was they took some of the lessons from the I Ching, which is an ancient Chinese tradition of using metaphor to take the archetypal journey of the human and kind of map it out into categories. They have a whole divination method, 64 different types of archetypes, and then you could do runes, and you could read what is held for your future. This is not that different from other ancient traditions, such as the tarot, which also have archetypes where you could kind of spread it out. And listen, an Igbo tradition, a Yoruba tradition, they also use cowrie shells to divine the highest truths. And it's all about the human, the journey of the soul. It's all about how we show up in this world. And I mentioned last week or the week before, can't remember now, how a lot of what we're going through, we think it's new. We think it's new that we're the ones experiencing this journey, this hardship, this struggle for the first time any human being has ever. So turns out every human has been going through this over all of the years. To the degree that there are folklore, there's written and also spoken traditions passed down through generations that hope to teach us how to behave in the darkest times, how to move in a world that's not so loving and kind, and we're unsure of ourselves. We move from shadow, or what we call darkness. We move to something else that's like a challenge. What challenge is here? What gift is this for me? And what is my enlightened way of seeing this? Every single one of the challenges that we go through in life can probably be mapped back to an existing archetype. Some story, some journey, some hero's journey that has faced this problem and solved it in some way. And so the Taoist, this is the Chinese tradition of the I Ching, they look at the yin and the yang as both necessary. You've seen that symbol before, the dark looking like a little swoop, encompassing the light, equivalently opposite little swoop. And both of them have a little bit, the dark one has a little light in it, and the light one has a little dark in it. This yin yang symbol is their explanation of how the world was created, through a balance between the light and the dark, a balance between the yin and the yang, the soft and the hard, the masculine, the feminine. Think of a binary. It is that balance between that. We Western tradition types tend to only want the good. We just want good. And we don't realize all the nourishing aspects of what is in the so-called bad. And that we cannot toss one away and have just the other one. In fact, when we try to toss one away, you know what that's called? It's called shadow work. When we try not to see those parts of ourselves that we'd rather not embrace, with so-called darkness, to be not looked at, to be separated from, when we do that, we create an other. We create an other. And then we project that other onto someone else because we can't own it. And then we make that person bad. And then we run from him or her. Or we make them the enemy and then create a whole lot of dogma and theology around the enemy. We'll call it the devil, call it Satan, make a whole thing out of it. And then we have this duality life where one part is good and the other part should be fought and resisted. The enlightened one, the one who understands this, who has gone through periods of cleansing, is what we call that hero's journey, so-called fighting the good fight, we realize it's all part of the oneness. We cannot take a part of ourselves and just, don't look at it, pretend it's not there, try to cut it off and make it die. Because that part will persist. What we resist will persist. So, just like we need the soil to get the seed to have the right conditions to sprout, eventually that seed pushes through that darkness, doesn't it? Think about it. Pushes through that darkness, seeking what? The light. Because plants have a natural ability to take sunlight and turn it into food. It's called photosynthesis, if you were paying attention in 3rd grade. Now, without being able to see that light, without being able to push toward the light, it would not, let's say it would not make its way to being a fully grown plant. So, what we're talking about is the ability to live in the darkness long enough, knowing something magical is happening right now. Something magical is happening right now, and holding the course. Not trying to just toss it away or ignore it, or I hate these times, I'm gonna move around and not sit still because I just want to get past this negative part. No. We sit and we feel all of it. And then when we're ready, when life has done its thing with us, we will see the light, we'll see a glimpse of it. It'll be a little flickering flame at first. And we move toward that, following our instincts. This light, regardless of situations, regardless of your circumstance, is always there. It's always there. It'll guide us through even the darkest of winters, if we allow it, if we remember it. So this idea of the light guiding us through the darkest times, allowing us to make something good out of everything that is in our path, this is what the mystics explain to us when they talk about expanding their consciousness. This is why mystics, for every holy place that we've ever seen, from the church, the chapel on the hill, to those cathedrals, they're using light. Temples use light, churches, mosques, synagogues, all of them, throughout all of the spiritual traditions, they use light. And I also think about this too. Before there was any light pollution, before we had anything other than fire, I feel like humanity laid on its back and looked up into the sky in the night. And they wondered and awed at all of the twinkling lights that were consistently present. And they knew that even when it was sunny outside, they knew those lights were there in the sky. You couldn't see them. They also knew that in order to enjoy the splendor of the array of stars in the sky, that they had to have darkness. I feel like they knew that darkness was necessary to see the light. That something happened, and now we're just running around and everybody's got a phone in their face, and they've got a binge watch episode they can't miss, so they've got a game. They're doing both. Yes, that's me, doing both. Binge watching and playing the game on my phone, because sure, why not? I can do that. Sometimes we'll forget our very basic nature. And so festivals like Hanukkah and traditions like Kwanzaa, the new tradition, or traditions like just going to midnight Christmas Eve service at your local church, whether you believe all the stuff they're saying at the other times of the year or not, it's kind of neat. It's pretty. It's kind of great to have a candle and somebody passes the candle and they're like, this one light, this one candle. And then the whole room is all of a sudden, everybody's got a candle lit. And that one candle that started the light didn't lose anything, but was able to give everybody light, and then making the analogy of, we can share our light and it doesn't cost us anything. That's pretty powerful to remember, because we're caught in this attention grabbing everyday hustle and bustle, and we might forget these basic truths about ourselves, about humanity, about our spirituality, about our path. We are connected to each other. There's something amazing happening in each of us, and it is known as the light. We simply have to turn to it to know that it's there, to remember, oh yeah, the light of the candle, important. Whether it's 5 candles or 7 candles, any candle represents that light within us. We have that eternal flame. And so in our darkness, we get to turn toward it. True, in our darkness, we might just fight the darkness. But you know what? A candle does not fight the darkness. Do you know what it does? It shines. That's it. There's no effort. There's no coming in and No. The darkness flees because the light showed up. And as the light stays there, the darkness is not able to, it's a whole thing. I also think about, someone said, the lighthouse. The lighthouse that sits on a rocky coastline does not run around trying to yell at all the boats. Its work is to stay still and shine. Think about that. What if your work was to stay still and shine? Stay still and shine your light. I know it's tempting to run here and run there and do this and do that and yell at people and try to convert. No. Stay still and shine your light. Ernest Holmes said that if a treatment in our teaching is it's an affirmative prayer where we pray with words that affirm the highest truth that we know about ourselves. And by affirming this highest truth, this is how we reveal the answered prayer. So he said that if a treatment, the mind unifying with good, if it could be seen, you know what it would look like? He said it would appear as a pathway of light. That was in his Science of Mind, in the book that Ernest Holmes wrote, the whole thing that started our whole tradition 100 years ago. It would look like a pathway of light. So he's saying that the pathway is not created, it's already there. Our job is to remove the obstacles. In fact, all the mystics say that the journey of enlightenment is not adding things to yourself. And think about it, it doesn't even make sense. Enlighten, to become lighter, It's not just light shining, it's also lightness of being. The lightness of traveling light, removing some of the things that were covering up our light. This would be any posture you may take to try to maybe dim your light a little bit because maybe you had some negative people reacted negatively when you were so happy and so joyful and so energetic, so you stop doing that. We can release that, become lighter. Whatever story we told ourselves about the not enoughs, you know, the not enoughs, the family of not good enough, not tall enough, not white enough, not black enough, not fat enough, not skinny enough. Those not enough family, that part of our covering, as we start to let go of some of these things, much like hiding our light under a bushel, as they say, letting go of that basket full of stuff and just letting it shine, we are actually on the path of enlightenment to allow that light to shine. We don't have to put it there. It's there. The work is in letting go of everything that's not the light. Letting go of everything that's not the light. So we let go of what's blocking. We let the natural existence of light flow. And so this time of the year, we're celebrating the external light for our symbols. Sure, we're lighting those candles. We're lighting that Yule log and we're lighting up the Christmas tree. Sure. But you know what else we're doing? We are also reminding ourselves that the real light is the one within. It is that one within, and we do need reminders. We are inhuman in the casings, after all. We're in a human sleeve. We have to remind ourselves that our goal here is to become less of what we feared that we are and more of what we truly are. This is the faith that we have, that we work every day with our prayer, our meditation, and our affirmations. So my call to action for you as I close up and go into prayer, it's one thing that we have reminded ourselves that we are the light that shines. We want to let our light shine, the one that we remembered during the meditation. We're letting that light shine and getting our bloated nothingness, all the stories and the what ifs out of the way, to let it shine fully as us during this time and always. So let's go within and let's do a little prayer, a spiritual mind treatment, as Ernest Holmes taught. There's only one life, one power, and that is the divine. With this divine energy, we all were imbued. It is in each and every one of us. We can bring forth all of the gifts of the divine right here, right now. So as we remind ourselves that we're one, there's only one here, one presence, that is the universal presence. Whether you call it God or Shiva or whatever you call it, the universe, spirit, Mother, Father, God, whatever you call it, that one is all there is. And since this is true, I speak my word that each of us are awakening to this truth about ourselves, that we remove any belief about ourselves that is unlike the truth. And we open to the greater yet to be that is already within us. The oak tree is in the acorn, right here, right now. We simply give in to the divine impulses, whatever it is that is trying to awaken in us. We say yes, yes. And anywhere that is experiencing anything other than the divine, any ideas, any stories, any misconceptions of not enoughness, I speak my word that those untruths are dissipated, just like the darkness in the presence of light. That only the truth shines through right now and always. And so I simply give thanks for this community. I give thanks for the ability to hold space for each and every one of us as we unfold on our own spiritual path. And in a sense of gratitude, I say, thank you, life. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. I release my word into the law. Let it be. And so it is. Ashe.
Amen. Again, and as is always the case, everything's prepared for us in advance. We just have to, like you said, stand still and shine and show up and shine. So this is this year's solstice song from me, but which actually means for me. It came to me, and then I have the great fortune and opportunity to share it. So the refrain goes like this, if you'd like to sing it with me. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Let your soul's light shine so brightly that we all can find our way home. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Let your soul's light shine so brightly that we all can find our way home. So that's the refrain. We're going to keep coming back to it. If you want to sing, please, please do. Let your soul's light. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Let your soul's light shine so brightly that we all can find our way home. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Let your soul's light shine so brightly that we all can find our way home. Find our way home. You know, my friends, we got to light up the night. We'll find our way home. Somehow it's all gonna be alright, 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 alright. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Let your soul's light shine so brightly that we all can find our way home. Shine up your bright. Let your light shine so shine your bright. Let your light shine. Won't you shine up your bright? Let your bright light so that we all can find our way home. Find our way home. You know, my friends, we got to light up the night. We'll find our way home. Somehow it's all gonna be alright, 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 alright. Let your light shine so shine you bright. Everybody's got a light shine to shine you bright. Everybody's got a light to shine, and we all can find our way home. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, 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 shine.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, wait, how do I do it? Oh my gosh, that was so great. I was over here dancing. I love that you added this little light of mine, because that's what Nancy had put in the chat. Oh, I just love us. Anyway, it's time to end. Let me share the rest of the... I don't have Tamara. She's on the road. So I'll do it just really quick. it is time to talk about donations. So we're going to pass the plate. Oh, that's right. We're online. Fine. Here's how you pass the plate electronically. Please, we do depend on your donations to make all of this stuff work. So if you can, you could text your donation, or you could do a Cash App, you could mail a check, and you could do PayPal. So many ways to give. We hope you found your favorite way to give. In the meantime, while you prepare that gift, why don't you take your hand and put it over your heart and speak with me the affirmation for blessing our gifts. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact, because I stand still and shine. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. Okay, some announcements for what's coming up. It is the end of the year, and I've been in touch with Melinda, and we're going to do some workshops. But I do know for sure these two things are happening coming up soon. Next Sunday, we're doing the Burning Bowl ceremony online. We're going to do it. So come on back to service. We're going to spend that service in ritual, letting go of what no longer serves us. So please join us for that. That's going to be fantabulous. And then the other thing we're going to do that following Sunday is our vision board. We're going to have a workshop after service, so it's going to probably be around 1 o'clock from 1 to 3. We're all going to get online again, same location, and we're going to do our vision board using the new techniques online. We're going to use some online tools that are free that let you build your vision for 2025. Please join us for that. Also, there is the dream study that's happening next weekend. So don't forget that me and everybody who comes, this is how I met some of you. Come on over to dream study. Your dreams are trying to tell you things. And so we're here to help you interpret those dreams so that you can get the gist of what your higher self is trying to tell you. So that's all I have for you. I did want to mention this before we take off with our final affirmations. Please stick around, especially if you're new. You can introduce yourselves to us and we can get to know you in what we call our Pearls session. Everybody who got a little aha moment, a little feeling about, oh, that resonates with me, we get to share it. And it's kind of cool to hear different people's responses, and you get to introduce yourselves if this is your first time. And we call it our coffee hour, our online coffee hour. So before we get offline, we don't do that online. We end with this final affirmation. So I'm going to allow everybody to say it. I know Tamara loves it too. She likes to hear people say with her the affirmation. So you get the ability to unmute yourselves. Say after me, I am love.
I am love.
I am
Yay!
love.
Yay! Okay, look around. Find somebody. If you have a picture of somebody in your room, if they're not in the room with you, point at that picture. If you have a furry animal, point at that furry animal. If you have none of the above, point at your screen, because there are people in this Zoom room. You tell them with me, you are love.
You are
love.
love.
Yay! Now, this is the fun part. Put your hands up in the air, and we're going to do love sprinkles, and we're going to declare it's all love.
It's love.
Love.
Yay! All right, have a wonderful Christmas. Chris Kwanzaa is what I'm calling it. Christmas, Kwanzaa, and Hanukkah. Chris Kwanzaa. Have a wonderful Chris Kwanzaa, and I'll see you next Sunday. Have a wonderful week. Stick around, though. Okay, bye now.